Hey everyone, Stan here, although my official name in the class is Constantine Lee, but please call me Stan. Um, so for this research paper, I focused on Russians and Russian Americans in San Francisco. Seemed like an interesting culture to research because of US-Russian relationships and the current Ukrainian-Russian war. But we're not going to get into that. Anyway, let's get into the history a little bit. So, we'll just do a brief history. I would recommend that you go to the Russian Center of San Francisco, which is on 2460 Southern Street, and talk to Margarita Menyailenko. She oversees the museum, and she has a lot of knowledge in terms of the Russian culture from before 1917 to World War I, World War II. There's a lot of artifacts over there that you can see. And yeah, when I went over there, it was actually pretty fascinating. The other resource I used for history was a book by Nina Bogdan. I don't know if you can see the book. It's pretty thick, but if you can get through this, he has so much information on the history as well. Like for instance, before 1917, I think, there's a few Orthodox churches in the Bay Area. And so those were the places where Russian immigrants would be welcomed once they immigrated, or at least they're trying to leave Russia during the civil wars. Also I found out that the Holy Trinity Church, I apologize, I'm looking at my notes. The Holy Trinity Church was one of the first churches. It was opened in 1857. So I didn't even realize there was Russian presence in the US way back in 1857. And let's go to the culture and food. One of the people I interviewed, Dmitry, he was kind of funny. His full name is Dmitry Gavrilov, and he said that one of the traditions was to take your shoes off. And he was kind of questioning why Americans didn't do that, because in Russia, that was, well, at least to him, it was a tradition to take your shoes off before you got into the house. Piroshki and soups. Those are very staple Russian foods. And I would recommend going to Cinderella Bakery on Geary Street if you wanted to partake on very authentic Russian foods. One of the other people I interviewed also was talking about the Russian New Year. And that was pretty interesting because it wasn't the same as our New Year, January 1st. Sometimes it changes. And a bunch of Russians still celebrate that New Year. I think it's usually in January or sometime in January. But I think that the date changes on that as well. So, Leo challenges. That's probably what a lot more people here would be more interested in understanding. Leo, by the way, is law enforcement officers. So, stereotypes and implicit biases are very prevalent still. Like, for instance, a lot of people think that Russians are cold or aloof. They use a lot of alcohol, and they're associated with espionage and organized crime. So, if you think that, don't. Because that can impact your split-second decisions when dealing with Russians and Russian Americans in your communities. So the police department should also continue to have training classes, probably pretty frequently, so that way officers and supervisors can deal with implicit biases. And lastly, just engage with the community. That's probably one of the best things I've learned from this research project. Just talking to Russians and Russian Americans, just get to understand and know them more. And if you learn about the culture more, then you're less likely to make decisions that are not good. So anyway, that would be my presentation, and hopefully you learned a little bit from this research project. Thanks everyone.